Still on the news, higher education, according to National Policy on Education, is the post-secondary section of the national education system, which is given of universities, polytechnics, and colleges of technology, including courses as are given by the colleges of education, advanced teachers training colleges, correspondence colleges, and such institutions as may be allied to them. However, today, the proliferation of satellite campuses by higher institutions is threatening the quality of education in Nigeria.
I think Nigeria these days, I'm sorry, our government has actually caused a lot of problems, both for the existing legally instituted institutions in Nigeria by the finance, by their finance act given to them. You know, when you check the last budget sent to the House of Assembly, you discover that the budgetary allocation for education reduced drastically. And by so doing, the schools, I mean the vice chancellors, the rectors, or probably the provost in the legal institutions now might find a way of getting funds into the system. So by so doing, it will give some less privileged not to be able to go along with such demand by such institutions. So they will be likely be looking out for institutions whereby they can just get kangaroo certificates. So the roles of the government this time to curb those things is, one, they should empower the bodies, that is the NUC, that are in charge of tertiary institutions in Nigeria. They should empower them, giving them the power to close down existing institutions that are not approved by the government.
Stakeholders also add that corruption in the educational sector has more serious implication for the country in general because it shortchanges members of the society in its provision of their fundamental human rights of social services, especially as the objective of all universities in Nigeria has as its aim the acquisition, development, and inculcation of the proper value orientation for the survival of the individual and societies.
Firstly, illegal institutions, at times people call it an unaccredited institution, as I've said. When you are talking about that, they have several economic implications on Nigeria education. I think the number one point there is the issue of substandard curriculum, because when there is such institution, the kind of curriculum they impute into such students that are going there will not agree with the minimum standard released by the regulatory body, which is the probably NUC or the NCCE, if it should be College of Education. So the curriculum that will be released in such institution might not be in agreement with what NUC has approved.
It also includes the development of the intellectual capacities of individuals to understand and appreciate environment, the acquisition of both physical and intellectual skills which will enable individuals to develop into useful members of the community, the acquisition of an overview of the local and external environment.
Unqualified teachers. You know, when we are talking about illegal institutions in Nigeria, they would just find a way of getting anybody into the system. When they get anybody into the system, they believe they can negotiate with such person in terms of salary and etc. like that. It will be difficult for them to get qualified, probably lecturers or instructors that will impart knowledge in such institution. So that is why you see them all around, even begging some secondary school graduates to teach and pay them some peanuts. Why am I saying this is the kind of students they produce in such institution, because the institutions are not accredited by the regulatory body. Such graduates might likely find themselves in the society whereby their employer doesn't recognize the institution they've graduated from. So by so doing, they may likely step down their applications and denied their employment and opportunity at that point.